Hey everybody, what's up? Circus here coming at you with another power rankings video. This week I'm joined by Kamell as always, and then -1 and Novomortuus. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Good to be here.
Yep. Glad to be back for another week of the Power Rankings. And we have a lot more tournaments on the Power Rankings this week. We only had, three last week for the KC Cup? Now we're at 7.
Yep, a lot bigger sample size this week. So if you're not familiar with how we do things around here, we have a scoring system. We track all the tournaments. We see how the decks perform, and then we rate the deck. We're not rating players, we're rating decks. And then based on how the deck finishes, we assign points to it. So if it takes a first place finish, it gets 6 points. A second place finish is 4 points. If it's in the top 4, it gets 2. And anything through 5th through 8th gets a single point. So as you can see on the screen, we track the Battle Phase Monday, the Battle Phase Friday, the God Tournament Meta Weekly 120, the Warrior Links Meta number 10, PCT, that's the Pharaoh's Cash Tournament number 68, and the FM Series number 13. So, coming in first place, not surprised, this is a deck that we predicted not too long ago to be at the top here, and that's Dark Magician. Why is that, Nova? Why are we seeing this again? It was in first place last week. It's in first place again.
It's a very oppressive control deck with its ability to banish and negate. Sometimes you can handle one, but it's hard to handle both at the same time, sort of thing, or I guess in quick succession, I guess.
You try to do something and it just does not let you.
Pretty much.
As well, you can see just the massive amount of play Dark Magician is seeing, but in the case of its Meta Weekly win and its Battle Phase Friday win, the two tournaments that it did win this week, there's kind of a new Dark Magician build emerging, right? So Dark Magician are usually used to using the cookie cutter build, 3 nav, 3 circle, then you got your Kaiku, your Knight and Sorcerer, but a lot more people have been playing things like Dark Magic Expanded, Dark Magic Curtain, and those cards have come up huge. Specifically, we saw them just yesterday in Battle Phase Friday and in the Meta Weekly as well. So,
all right, moving on to second place, Thunder Dragons with 23 points. Again, not doing too bad. This was a deck that MA in our first power rankings video said this is the one that's gonna be moving up, and here it is, second place. And it was in second place last week, so it didn't really move a whole lot, but it held its own. Taking first place in the God Tournament, and then second in the FM Series and Battle Phase Monday. Who wants to tackle that one?
well, I could say a little bit about Thunder Dragons. Just a little bit, we have been seeing Thunder Dragons increase in the amount of tops that they've been getting, and this is something that we've been talking about on the past couple Power Rankings videos, that Thunder Dragons, this is just kind of their meta to excel, being able to establish a lot of threats. So I think that's why we're seeing a lot of them. Neg, what do you have to say on Thunder Dragons?
So I've been thinking Thunder Dragons are really good, just with the Lightsworn engine and Levianeer. Against Dark Magician specifically, you just put a ton of cards into the graveyard, and then you summon a Levianeer, and then a non-targeting pop 2. It forces them to activate navigation, activate their cards early, and that much like tempo and like card advantage gained off of just your boss monster is huge. So that's why I think it's really doing well.
It is the big change to Levianeer, because I swear, month or two ago, people are trying to make Thunder Dragons work, and it just seemed like they'd sit there and just summon monsters over and over, and the deck wouldn't go anywhere. Now it feels like they can actually win games with it. Is it because of Levianeer?
More or less, it really it gives the deck a really big power play that you don't see in a lot of other strategies.
Because before it always felt like they're going through a long turn, and at the end of it, I'd be like, "What did you just do?" Nothing.
That's because, right? Well, that's the main problem Thunder Dragons had when they started out, but then slowly, as we started to get more resources, right, they started to be able to establish threats a lot easier, and establish more threats. And then we got Levianeer, which is probably the most brutal boss monster in all of Duel Links right now, and the best deck to play it in is Thunder Dragons. So just another threat added to its arsenal.
All right, so third place, Shiranui. This is a deck that just won't die. It just won't go away, kind of like the Dark Magician. Got 2 first place finishes this week. First place in the Pharaoh's Cash tournament, and the first place in the Forbidden Memories series. So why is that? I mean, it's just an easy deck, right? I mean, it's in a mini box. Everybody can get it. Everybody can play it, and it just keeps performing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's accessible.
go
It
ahead.
has good strengths. It really like all of your cards work standalone. So like you see Squire, and that's a play. You see your back row, and those don't conflict with each other. They work together. So
Ballista Squad really seems to be helping out the deck too, right?
yeah, putting the level 2 into the graveyard to set up a following turn and removing a card is really good.
Right. So it's one of those situations where it's like you discard a card, but it actually helps you. In the past, you'd see a card like that and be like, when would I ever use this? Or you discard something and you'd actually be going negative. But in this case, it actually helps you out the next turn.
Also, Shiranui is a pretty accessible deck. A lot of people invested in it when it came out. It's pretty cheap and it's pretty easy to upgrade, right? Some of the best new tech cards that you can play with it are also from mini boxes. Like we just said, Ballista Squad from the new mini box, and I believe Raigeki Break also kind of good in Shiranui also from a mini box. So it's easily upgradable and it's accessible.
Yeah, it comes from a mini box, and what do you need? 2 URs off of it? Maybe?
Yeah, just
So.
just one even. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's obviously really easy to get. Moving on down the line, Invoked Element Sabers. This is Neg's deck. Dropping down the list though here. In the past, it's been right up at the top. Why are we seeing it drop down so far?
I would say this is primarily because of Dark Magician. I think out of all the top decks, Sabers only really struggles against Dark Magician. The other decks, it either beats or like has. It might not have a good matchup against like maybe Cyber Dragons. It might not have a good matchup against maybe Blue Eyes, but Dark Magician is a bad matchup, whereas the others are like maybe not great but manageable.
Why is that? Just because the negate or the banish or both?
It's just it's like everything Dark Magician does. It puts out big bodies for like free. It generates a lot of resources with Rod and Circle. All these things are very difficult for Element Sabers to keep up with without having a very good hand.
You can't always win that coin flip either if you're going with Element Sabers against Dark Magician. So you can't necessarily get the negation set up with the Lapulia.
Right. So why is it taking so long for this to happen? I mean, Dark Magician's been out longer than a week or two.
I think
Correct.
it's mostly just a meta adaptation. People are moving more towards Dark Magician after the meta was very Shiranui and Saber focused. And Shiranui and Element Sabers both have a hard time against Dark Magician, so more people move over to Dark Magician.
Just easier to get those wins. All right, here's Kamell's deck. We were doing the WLM earlier today. I'm not a fan of Cyber Dragon, so I'm going to sit back a little bit on this. I'm mainly not a fan because I lose to them quite a bit because I only have one deck, and they counter that deck very, very well. But as you can see, they're having a great week. They've moved up. They're actually on the list now. Look how many tops they got. They got like 8 tops here. Kamell, what's going on?
Cyber Dragons are notorious for having a great matchup against Dark Magician, and lo and behold, Dark Magician's on the top of the meta right now, so that means Cyber Dragons are doing well too. And both the tournaments this week, it was the runner-up in Battle Phase Friday and the winner of the WLM tournament that we just got done watching. And yes, Cyber Dragons run Cosmic Cyclone at 3. Dark Magician's worst enemy. They have non-targeting destruction, an OTK boss monster, Cyber End Dragon. That a deck like Dark Magician has no hope of getting over, even with the help of the newly included Dark Magic Expanded in most Dark Magician decks. But yeah, Cyber Dragons just have they have that toolbox that they need, and it just so happens that it destroys Dark Magician in every way, right? Summon Twin Dragon, Dark Magicians can't get over. Cyber End Dragon, they're not getting over. Overflow, the non-targeting destruction. So they've got something for a little bit of everything in Dark Magician.
All right. Well, hopefully they fall off the list next week. That make me feel better.
Please play Cyber Dragons.
And then
move up the list.
probably the last one we're gonna really touch on here is Crystron's in 6th place. Here we go again. They did win a tournament. I
Yes,
guess
they did.
we have to acknowledge them. Here we go.
But just for clarity's sake, right? SSA Crystron's.
SSA
was the winner.
Crystron's, yeah. So
SSA Crystron's.
they did
Not
have
the
to spice it
conventional
up a
Crystron's.
little bit to make the deck the best deck in the world ever actually win a tournament. Neg, just whatever.
So, Crystron's, they're a really good deck. Just nobody
Uh-huh.
bothers to play them.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
That's
the
quite
few
well
times
said.
they have been played, they actually won, which is more than you can say for like Cyber Dragons or like Sabers, like the other two
Mhm.
like decks above Crystron's, you know.
We all know the reason they got that first
In
place
tournaments this week.
is because ASAP played the deck, right? You know that, right? It was
I'm not
it,
gonna argue that.
it just wasn't like a potato that just like burned through the ranks going 10-0. It was because
Yeah,
it was
well, you
ASAP.
can't be a potato and run Crystron's. It's just not gonna.
That's why they're not the best
turn out
deck.
well.
That's why Dark Magician's the best deck right now. You
Well,
take a
it's
potato,
Circus
you put a
Walk.
fucking helmet on him, and send him in.
Nah, I mean, that contributes to why Dark Magician is at the top right now, right? Just because it is easily accessible. A lot of people will play it. They'll bring it to an event and they'll do well with Dark Magician because it's a
Right.
strong and easily pilotable deck. But Crystron is just a lot more intricate, and there's less players out there that can pilot the deck effectively.
Right. I did want to give an honorable mention to battery men or batteries, whatever you want to call it. There was a guy, what's his name? Zippy? Ziggy. He's been playing in the tournaments this week, and he got top 8 in the God tournament and the Warrior Link Master tournament, and he took top 16 in Battle Phase Friday, right? So congratulations to him. Is it just batteries have a good matchup against a few things? You dust
I
off
think
the
that man
deck
is
and-
I think he's a memer. I think that's what
okay.
it is. And hey, look,
I respect that.
he single-handedly did better than Blue Eyes this week.
Yes.
One man did better than all the Blue Eyes players.
Yes. So, real quick, you want to give a quick picks for what you guys think is going to be at the top next week? Kamell?
Definitely think Cyber Dragons will be higher than 5th place. I think, a lot of people have Cyber Dragons, so I definitely want to see people experiment with it, but I don't think it's going to be enough to shake Dark Magician from the top. It's just going to be played in such a high capacity that it's going to be there for a little bit.
What about you, Nag? What's going to be number 1, number 2? What do you think? Same thing?
I think Thunder Dragon might move up because it just has a pretty good time like nuking Dark Magician boards that with Dark Magician so prevalent, it has a good chance of taking the top spot.
All right, Novo. Besides Ojamas, what's going to be number 1 next week?
Still DM maybe. Unless I'm making this assumption, assuming we don't get a ban list.
We'll see.
That would throw a wrench in everything.
Yeah, we'll see. So I'll hold you guys to that next week. So hopefully you guys liked this video. I know I did. I always have a lot of fun doing it. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, Twitch, Twitter, Discord. I don't know. What else is going on, Kamel? that everything?
That's pretty much it. Yeah, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, like, subscribe. Thank you guys for 400 subscribers this week.
Woo! Big
We're
time.
glad you guys are receiving the constant content we're putting out every day. So please let us know what you want to see. Your feedback means a lot to the channel.
Yeah, eventually we'll
sure
put out a
that-
good video too. So just keep watching. It's
One of
gonna
these
happen.
days.
It's gonna happen.
And make sure if you're available and you want to participate and contribute to the power rankings that you enter one of the tournaments that we mentioned. Battle Phase Mondays and Fridays are Mondays and Fridays respectively at 4 p.m. And you can find the sign up links to them in the Duel Links Entertainment Discord. Also, if you join the Discord, you'll find out how to enter the Warrior Links Masters Tournament, which we just got done streaming. So it's Saturdays at 3 p.m. EST. So, yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week with another power rankings video. I'm Circus. That's Kamell. That's Novo and Negwan. See you next week.
What's up, guys?
Peace.
Peace.